Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Today, I am joined by Chris Schneff, lead brewer from Stormcloud Brewing. And we have some history, man. I remember
Oh yeah.
a
Oh
dear
yeah.
friend of mine, Andy Gallagher, that the three of us all used to work together. He used to give me a hard time because when Chris started coming into the brewery to help out, I had been burned by some other people in the past. So Andy felt as if I was passive aggressively refusing to learn Chris's name, and I would just call him the tall kid. Uh, and, but Chris ended up to be. Chris is like legit my first one that I trained up into that opening step, right? I'm not trying to take credit for too
No.
much here, but it was that first step. And we always joke around with the brew babies and the subsequent brew daddy, or brew
Yep.
father, or
I like daddy.
well, I'll tell you this, so that some people might already know. So my kids got me this for Christmas. It caught you.
I
I'm
thought you
glad.
were drinking out of that.
I'm drinking out of a mug with my face, and then on this side, it says
Yes.
it says Brew Daddy. So my
Yes.
kids got me this cup. Yes, my kids are old enough to kind of get how awkward / funny / creepy that is. So yeah, but I am drinking out of my Brew Daddy mug, and so yeah. Anyhow, Chris, welcome, man.
Hey, good to be here. Excited to be here.
Absolutely, man. So why don't you just give us a little background on the professional side? We already established that we were brewing together at Cranker's Brewery in Big Rapids, which seems like 3.5 lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
And then from there, you went up north.
Yeah. Yeah. From there, I pretty much went north. Thankful to you, grateful for you for passing on an opportunity that came to you. Who I now work for, my boss, Brian Confer. He's the kind of master head brewer here and co-owner at Stormcloud. But yeah, I've just been kind of the brewer for a while. I started when we were still brewing at the pub. And when I moved up here, the walls were being built on this production facility that I'm now sitting in. So now we have a 20-barrel brew house in a production facility with a Cody canning line.
That's that counter pressure filler boy on
Yeah.
yeah.
Counter pressure. It's pretty slick. I wouldn't go any other way at this point. Now what I know. But yeah, we're sitting around like 3,000 barrels a year. If you don't know Stormcloud, our kind of starting passion was Belgian beer. So we do a lot of traditional Belgian styles. But over the past couple of years, been kind of diving into newer things. We've been messing around a lot with Kvike. Just started bringing on a lot more lager beer into our portfolio, and all these thiolized things have been a big fun project for us to investigate. My boss, myself, and our kind of head lab dude, John, we like to kind of go down rabbit holes, and my boss really supports that. So
Yeah.
the Thiol project has kind of been a big thing the past year. We went to the MBA yearly meetup or whatever in Cleveland a couple of years ago, and that was when Omega just released Cosmic Punch,
Yeah.
their first strain, and So we went to Head Brewing there, and they had a project beer on it, and it was really, really weird, and it still intrigued me so much. And that whole car ride home, I pretty much convinced Brian to like, let's figure more out about these thiols. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we've been doing. And fortunately, we do have a kind of a pieced together pilot system. It's a more beer tippy dump system.
Yeah.
So like a 30-gallon hot liquor and mash tun, and then we bought a 50-gallon SS Brewtech kettle.
Yep.
So we're double mashing into that, and we can get a 34-gallon ferment. So we get at least a half barrel and a couple sixtels off of these experiments.
Sure.
And we feel, obviously there's a step from homebrew to the big system of quality differences. But we use that pilot system almost religiously here. We've done a lot of deep dives on our Belgian beers and Kveiks and now Thiols. So anyway, that's
no, that's awesome, man. And one thing I'll say about Brian is one of the reasons he's one of the people, obviously, I came down here from Michigan, and there's a lot of people you miss when you go out to the beer festivals and everything like that. But I'll say one of those people for real though is Brian for me, because Brian would always come up to me at a festival and he'd be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He's like, "Listen, when you have a minute, come over to the booth. There's this beer I'm pouring that I hate, and I want you to tell me why."
That sounds like Brian. Sounds like
dude.
Brian.
I love that like there is something to that, because don't get me wrong, a festival is the time to have fun and relax or whatever. But like, I would much rather have a beer with the guy that is going to be critical about his own beer, as opposed to the guy who's not, and I mean, we are talking about like on a, I don't know. So yeah, I always like Brian for that. And I always respect that.
He is an art school graduate, so he is a perfectionist. He's always seeking, that feeling of perfection, which he never seems to find. But I give him props to that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly just,
He's on his grind, man. He's on his grind.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember, because you guys are running RO water back there, up there, right? And then building back.
Yeah.
I remember that blew my hair back when I heard that. I'm like, okay, he's not playing. He's going for it, especially when you guys are running that Belgian stuff.
Yeah, since the day he bought that RO system, that is one of the deeper rabbit holes he's been in and hasn't quite come out of. And I respect that so much, because I've learned so much about water from him, and I feel like, we always talk about like, you can make great beer, but just to to make it a really good beer to a great beer, it can come down to water.
Sure.
So
sure. Yeah. I mean, I do think it's water, and depending on what kind of beer you're making, but I think in a lot of cases that is some of those last few percentage points, right? And I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. I know not everybody is super dialed in as far as work with water and whatnot, but I do think it can be one of those things.